The active noise canceling headphone market is pretty interesting right now. Basically, you flip a switch and everything outside the headphones just disappears. But what if you don't really have $400 for the flagship versions of, Sony, Bose, or Microsoft headphones? Enter the Mpow H5. What's going on, everybody? Jeremy with Detroit Tech. If you're in the market for some Bluetooth headphones that have, like active noise cancellation, most people would probably tell you to go with, the Bose, Sony, or now the Microsoft headphones. But those cost like $300 to $400. So what if your budget was like under $100? Well, Mpow was kind enough to send a pair of the H5 active noise canceling headphones over to us to check out. They vary in price, but you can get the first generation for around $40 or so, and the second generation, which are here, for about $20 more. I'll say there really isn't a lot of difference between the two. I just kind of wanted to try the first generation too, so I bought a pair myself. They sound basically the same, and they really just differ in looks by where they put the logo, as you can see right here. And I'll put links in the description below so you can check that out on Amazon and support the channel. Let's get through the first three F's here. Finish is first. I like them. The first generation has the logo on the ear cup. The second generation has the logo like on the arm above the ear cup. The colors we have here are fingerprint magnets, but the materials feel pretty good. The adjustment band is metal and plastic combined, but everything else is plastic. The soft touch actually feels pretty good, and they feel like they'll handle a bit of rough use without really breaking too easily. The buttons are nice and clicky, so I really know when I'm actually pressing something. The switch though for the active noise cancellation can be a bit hard to move, but I'd rather have that than accidentally turning it on and off all the time. And I'll tack in usage here too. They're easy to pair with my Pixel 2 XL, turn them on, go to the Bluetooth device list, and click them, and that's really it. The volume buttons do exactly what you'd expect, as well as skipping tracks when you hold them briefly. The power button also acts as the Bluetooth pairing button, as well as the play pause and the answer hang up button for phone calls. Overall finish would get a 4 out of 5 for me. They're put together pretty well. Fit comes next. They're flexible enough to fit some pretty big heads. The headband doesn't have a ton of padding, but really they're light enough to not weigh heavy on your head. These are over ears, but they're narrow enough to where my ears kind of touch the sides just a little bit. The padding is decently cushy. My ears just barely brush the grills on the inside, but really so slightly it's almost imperceptible. Fit overall gets a 4 out of 5 just because I love the giant headphones that are completely incapable of being worn out in public. Fiscal is next, and I'll give them a solid 4.5 out of 5. The price point of coming in a few dozen dollars under $100 makes them a pretty attractive option, if they sound good. Which brings me to the important Fidelity. Listening to my playlist on Bluetooth on my phone, they sounded about how I expected. Low end was a bit exaggerated and a bit muddy in the low mids. I could hear vocals clearly, but they lacked emotion and intimacy. For example, in Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan, you really hear the emotion in his voice normally. But with these, he felt detached and a bit emotionless. Until I actually turned on the active noise cancellation. That's where these are really interesting. With the ANC off, I noticed the lack of sparkle in the high end. That sparkle is really what, gives life to a song. Without it, it sounds dull and emotionless. But once I switched the ANC on, things really changed in a big way. The low end cleared up, there was more high end sparkle, Stevie Ray had emotion again. Really, I just started enjoying the music again. Look, I'm not saying these are going to replace anyone's 650s at home or anything, but I had a good time listening to the music with their big feature, the ANC, turned on. And that's a big plus in my book. And the big players, I'm thinking Sony in particular, don't really have a change in sound when you turn the ANC on, but they also sound pretty freaking good just by themselves. With that, I'll give Fidelity a 3.25 out of 5. They're not amazing, but they definitely get the job done. And you know what? Let's throw a fifth F in the mix, feature. The feature of these headphones is the active noise cancellation. I already went over how it worked with the music, but how does it perform, without music involved? I took a quick recording in my office of the general noise in my house with the furnace on. I then went into Pro Tools and played around basically until I got as close as I could to the sound with the ANC on. So take a listen right here. Next, I went and stood right next to my furnace. There was a lot of low-end rumble with the headphones just on. really distracting. I turned the ANC on and the low rumble really just disappeared. There were still some higher end sounds coming through. It kind of felt like they just had like a really big high pass filter on it. And like every pair of ANC headphones I've tried, with no music playing and the ANC turned on, there was a little bit of a pressure in my ears that I really didn't like. And that actually includes the Sony's flagship headphones too. So with the scores average, I'm not giving a score for feature. And Fidelity counted twice. They scored a 3.8 out of 5. So ultimately, I really liked them. The battery life was pretty decent. You'll definitely get a few hours with the ANC turned on, and they claim 30 hours with ANC off, though I'd suggest always using ANC. They have an included 3.5mm male-to-male cable, and you can plug them in when they're out of battery, so you're at least covered there. They fold up, so they're pretty portable, and they even come with a little travel bag so you don't lose the charging cable. I would definitely recommend these. They're super affordable, and they perform admirably, especially for the price. The fit and finish is actually quite good, again, for the price. And if you're on a budget, an active noise cancellation would really come in useful for flights or train rides, something like that. These will do you well. Thanks for watching, everybody. If this review is helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And it goes like